What's happening, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back to Junk Drummer TV, where I give my initial reactions, my hot takes, my analysis on the drummers of today and yesterday, maybe tomorrow if I stick around that long. I am a professional drum teacher and a gigging musician, and I have been those two things for a very long time. And today's episode illustrates what I think is the most positive thing about social media. We can do a 7-hour video on the negatives of social media. But one of the things that social media has is that it has democratized art and entertainment. Because today's subject would not be where he is if not for being able to bypass the old system that musicians used to have to go through to get their music played to the masses. And Grayson, Nekrutman, just went straight to the source, and he's a sensation, right? He's bringing back almost single-handedly, and I know you could probably go in the comment section and tell me about a bunch of other great drummers doing the same thing, but he's capturing something that we haven't seen in like 70 years, and it could not be more hip. So let's just get right into it. Before I do it, if you like what I'm doing, please give me a like, a comment, and a share. Help me out. If you really dig what I'm doing, I got a Patreon, I got a merch table. Go check it out. Let's see about Grayson Nekrutman. Also, I just realized I'm not saying his name right. It's Grayson Nekrutman. Jazz ain't dead. It just smells funny, right? This could not be more hip. I think jazz has for so long kind of had that feel of, that bedroom at your mama's house that was never used, musty, unused, unlived in. That's what jazz, for me anyway, it's kind of felt. And I think that we needed a blast from the past as a reminder that there's so many cool things in the world, but jazz can be as cool as any of that. Man, if there was like a Medici family out there, it would be your moral obligation to just finance a big band for Grayson. Just finance it. Put it on the road. Postmodern jukebox, that's going over big. They do big tours. This guy's ready to be like a Pied Piper of a cool, lost part of our musical history. I know if you're in music school and you're a jazz major, you're playing big band stuff. Understand. You're kind of the only people who are. And the only other time you hear it is if it's like incidental music in a movie. We need to protect this man at all costs. Man, it's the epitome of what the college education system tries to do when they're working at their highest level, is maintaining a legacy of this music. I don't think they're doing a very good job. This guy here has been seen by so many more millions of people than just about any new jazz person you could name. Well, let's get down to some education part of this video. One of the things that you're seeing, and I think one of the things that was lost in the bebop era, because obviously the bebop era was a rebuke of the structured big band sound. You know, it's the kind of music we're listening to. If you don't know, maybe making assumptions. This is big band music. The thing about big band music, it was very, very structured, but inside that structure, you're forced to be very creative because you just can't play whatever the fuck you want to. You have to play whatever the fuck you want to that still adheres to what the rest of the band's doing. And, you know, bebop and cool jazz, everything that came after that was, and bebop, obviously. Did I say bebop? That broke down the structure of big band to great effect and gave us some of the best music that an American has ever performed. But the big band scene got lost, and man, I hope that he brings it back. I want me and Mrs. Junk Drummer to learn how to fucking swing dance. So like all through there, you know, he's got these hits that he has to, be unison with the rest of the band. And then his ability to bridge those little moments. So you like, say you've got a hit like, bop, 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 bow. You know, you have those three things as your, like landmark. And what you do in the middle of that is up to you. And I think that a lot of times you could be more creative because you do have a little bit of a structure to put down on top of your creativity. And you're not just like, we're going to do whatever the hell we want to do, which was more like bebop and cool jazz. And just small unit jazz. And I think that art form is lost, and it's like you can be more creative because you are a little bit handcuffed, for lack of a better way to put it. Well, we got to talk about that technique. He's playing, everything about him is a picture-perfect reproduction, and I don't mean that in a bad way, of the way that drums were played at this time, at the time of this music that he's playing. The technique is completely different from anything that you see. That left hand where, you know, when he goes to play, you know, those fast 30-second notes, like if you play with like a more traditional, modern traditional, like from a drum corps technique, you would go, you know, keep that finger there. Dude, he's wide open, just opening his hand. Oh, shit. Something I never do. And using just his thumb. It gets a certain sound, and it's a technique that just was lost in this style of drumming. But like a Indiana Jones, he went and found something and brought something back cool. If you've been in music school, you know this song, Man, and you know, I think that jazz a lot of time has the reputation of being tippy-tappy and quiet and subtle and like, I don't want to bother you too much, right? You know, the kind of music you eat when you're ordering an appetizer. This music is so heavy. I know it's a swing, but it's heavy as shit. He's smashing the drum set, and it's fucking awesome. Jazz needs more Pantera in it. Like this. One thing you can really tell in the sound of his drums there, with them being played by themselves, really high pitch. That's just the sound of that era. When you hear that top tom especially, that's almost as high as like a timbali. that was on purpose. They had to. This music originated before there were sound systems and miking, so you had to figure out acoustically how you could cut through a 15, 25, however many big band group. And one of the ways they did that, and these big band drummers, they didn't use like 18s and 16s like modern jazz players play. They played like 22s and 24s, and tuned their toms as loud as, or as high as possible, because it was able to cut through the thick layering sound of a big band. That's how you got cut through, and that became the sound of it. And it originated because they didn't have microphones.
Starry-eyed one time.
My kingdom to be Frank Sinatra. If there was anything that I would trade everything, I'd trade the farm, my abilities as a drummer, a couple Xboxes, to just be Frank Sinatra or one of those. I think that it's one of the coolest times to be, this kind of singer was when they were. Oh man, I fucking love Frank Sinatra.
I get you up there, I'll be holding you.
And there's a lot of chops and crazy cool shit that we've seen, but listen how groove this is. This is going to be a little more inside playing than what we've seen before, because he's playing behind a vocalist. And even back then in the big band blasting era of jazz music, when singers are singing, you shut the fuck up and you support. You're going to see, I would guess, predict, they're going to see a more supportive part of his playing during this.
So very near.
The groove's wide, man.
Even here, a gang of angels cheer just because we're together. Weatherwise, it's such a lovely day. Why say the words and we'll beat those birds down to Acapulco Bay. It is perfect.
Touch, feel. We've seen so much big playing. I think this shows even more of his ability than all of the trickeration and stuff that we've seen before. Like, he's playing lower. And when you play softer, you have so many more dynamics to play with. When you play loud all the time, you can go soft, but can't go loud and loud. And it doesn't make the same emotional connection when you go loud to louder and loudest. But when you go to piano and you go all the way to fortissimo, it's a big statement. And I think you can operate the drums better playing like this, because you hear everything so well.
For a flying honeymoon, they say, come on, fly with
And then I say that he starts bashing the "Come Home" chorus.
me, we'll fly, we'll fly. Pack up, let's fly away.
That single stroke roll is ridiculous. Oh man, wouldn't it be cool to just put on a nice suit with your special lady and just go see that? Someone needs to put this man on the road with a full working big band. There are enough amazing kick-ass players that have been poofed forth from our institutions of higher learning that would just be perfect for this. You only need, 25 of the best players in the country to play with the best, big band jazz drummer in the country. The last time that this kind of music was even a blip on the radar was, if you're old enough that you watched Conan O'Brien back when Max Weinberg was the band leader. You actually saw this every night. That's really, man, that's the last time you saw this on a big scale, because this guy's got tens of millions of views. He's on Drumeo. This guy's single-handedly, I hope, leading of a revolution back to that. And then I'd be cool with pop music, getting a little bit of that going on. It's happened. Bjork has a big band song that was a hit. It's So Quiet, which I think was a cover. Oh, I'd pay money to see that. I'd pay money to see that, and I'd drive a couple hours to go see him play with a top-notch, super type big band. Grayson Nekrutman. So sorry I messed her name up at the beginning. Man, keep moving forward, brother. Bring this to the masses, because it's a wonderful era in American music, and it was the beginning of all of it, of everything that we hear now, right? It deserves to be respected and played in a living way, if that makes sense. Don't make it like it's just like a throwback cover band. You know, keep the movement forward, going through that style. Great. Okay, if y'all liked all that, please give me a like, comment, and share. And check out my Patreon. I've got a merch table or whatever. And look, if you want to try to reinvent one of the most perfect wheels that's ever been created, like Grayson Nekrutman just did, got to keep practicing until it's easy.